What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing a deep dive analysis of the language capabilities of a well-known online polyglot who goes by the name of Kazoo Languages. I've had multiple requests both on YouTube and in my Discord to do a investigation of this guy. Generally, these requests go along the lines of, I think this guy's a fraud. Can you please investigate him and expose him? Now, my community and I have done a deep analysis of his abilities. So I'm going to present the facts. I'm going to present his abilities. And then at the end, I'm going to provide my analysis of his actual capabilities, and then I'll leave it up to you, the audience, to decide whether you think he's a fraud or not. So this is how it all started. On my YouTube channel, I received comments like this. Check out Kazoo Languages, 100p fake polyglot. I don't know what that middle part means, but they think he's a fake polyglot. Here's another one. Hi, I can't wait to see your review on Kazoo Languages. In his book, My Ultimate Method for Mastering 12 Languages from Scratch, he claims to master 12 languages many times, which I think is definitely exaggerated. Or also down here, thoughts on Kazoo Languages. So you can see that there's definitely some interest in investigating this guy. And then on my Discord, we have also had a request to do an investigation of his language capabilities. Okay, so this is the YouTube channel in question, Kazoo Languages. So let's see what he actually says. Hello, I'm Kazoo from Japan. Currently, I speak 13 foreign languages, which I have studied properly. Studied properly? That's an interesting way of putting it. These are English, Spanish, French, Portuguese, Arabic, Indonesian, Russian, German, Turkish, Chinese, Korean, Thai, and Polish. So, those are going to be our focus languages. I'm also learning Dutch, Tagalog, Cantonese, and Hindi. And then he also says that he speaks Japanese and he's learnt, a couple of little words here and there in about 60 other languages, mainly greetings. So that's what he claims on his YouTube channel. But he also has a book. Here is the book in question, here's the title, and here is the description. Now, for the majority of you who probably don't speak Japanese, I have got this translated. Basically, the book title, as mentioned right here, if it went through a direct title translation, it would say, The Ultimate Foreign Language Learning Method of Me, someone who has mastered 12 languages. And then in the description, it basically says, Never study a language, the author who learned 12 languages in just 5 years from English to the most difficult Arabic. And then he has learned Spanish, English, French, Arabic, Indonesian, Russian, Portuguese, German, Turkish, Chinese, Thai, Korean in 5 years. So he talks about mastering, which if you know and you've seen my channel before is a very high bar. That means you are very advanced in the language. But he also says in English that he has studied properly or learnt. Now within this specific book, there is multiple places where he actually says mastered. Here is an example from chapter 1. Chapter 1, mastering 12 languages in just 5 years, and there is the Japanese on the left-hand side. So the question is, does he speak properly? Or has he mastered? Is this a mistranslation of master and he's just translated it as speak properly? Or is he presenting his abilities at different levels in different languages? So I'm going to have to leave that one up to you because, well, it's hard to say right now. Let's actually then dive into his languages. Now, as part of my analysis of hyperpolyglots and polyglots, my community and I generally work together to break down each individual language, and we work in a communal document, as you see right now here on the screen. And we put all our information here, including each language that he claims to speak, and then we bring in actual native speakers and learners of those languages to critique his abilities in each one of these languages. So first, we're going to look at English. So we're going to click on this video right here.
Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Kazuma from Japan, 22 years old, and I taught myself 8 languages and study many more languages in my spare time. Now people ask me tips and secrets on how to learn languages efficiently and quickly. Let me get straight to the point. If I have any secret, I would say it is italki.
Now you've heard his English, and I'm assuming you're either a native or you speak English well enough because you're watching this video, but if in some worlds you don't, here is some comments from reviewers on basically his English level, and as you can see in here for yourself, he has a pretty good English level, although he's probably reading a script there. We don't doubt that he speaks English well, he clearly has an accent though, so nothing too amazing there, but he does claim in his book that he has mastered English. Whether I would deem that as mastering English, that's a different story. Now, let's take a look at his Spanish.
Barcelona, o sea, cerca de Barcelona. Sí. ¿Cuánto tiempo viviste en Guatemala?
6 meses.
6 meses también. Ok.
Pero el español es muy diferente.
Muy diferente, ¿no?
Yo aprendí en una escuela en Berlín
Ajá.
y es más de España, de Europa.
Europa,
Pero en Guatemala ellos hablan diferente, más tranquilo, más tranquilo y más claro.
Claro, hay algunas como expresiones típicas,
Sí, sí.
como slang, Guatemala.
Sí, como en Costa Rica o...
Puedes enseñarme una.
Okay, so we've heard him in a natural conversation. Now let's see him in a scripted environment.
Hola, soy Polígono Nomad. El día de hoy me gustaría hablar de mis impresiones de Barcelona desde el punto de vista de japonés. ¿Estás listo? Vamos.
Now, if you want to watch any of these videos in full, this document will be linked in the description. You can go click on it, you can watch the video, you can read the comments yourself. Basically, the summary of his Spanish-speaking abilities is that of a B1 speaker, which is pretty good, but again, it's not mastery. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at his French capabilities.
Tu parles français?
You know? Nani? Je parle français.
Ah, d'accord, ouais, c'est le pays francophone, donc ouais.
How do you know that?
I'm just interested in, African countries, so.
Really?
Yeah.
So you live in Japan, right?
Ouais, je suis japonais.
Et t'as quel âge?
Ah, j'ai 23 ans.
23 ans.
Et toi?
You look young.
Ah, merci. T'as 18 ans?
Non, 23.
23? Oh, on dirait pas, ouais. Tu habites où? En Burundi.
Non, là je suis en France.
Okay, so we've heard him in kind of a natural scenario there. You notice some of the more complex sentences swap back to English. Let's see him in more scripted environment.
Bonjour tout le monde, je suis polyglotte nomade. Aujourd'hui, je vous parler de mon impression de Paris d'un point de vue japonais. Alors, c'est parti.
Okay, the assumption was that in some of these videos, when he made them, he was probably an A2, and now he might be around B1, B2. Again, not mastery, but at least he's learning the language. Okay, now we're going to check out his Portuguese.
Então, você fala português também?
Falo portugués menos bien que español, porque he aprendido el español primero y después el portugués. Entonces, falo más tipo portuñol do que portugués. Mas cuando fui en Brasil no tenía ningún problema para comunicar con las personas.
Então você escolheu o sotaque do Brasil?
Bem, eu estudado os dois. Escutado muitas coisas em português de Portugal e coisas de Brasil. E tenho visitado os dois países.
Ah, ótimo.
E entendo os dois. Acho que uma pessoa que quer aprender a língua portuguesa deve acostumar-se aos dois. Ao português de Portugal e ao português de Brasil.
De Brasil. Sim, eu concordo. Muito obrigado.
Okay, now obviously we didn't get too much out of that because realistically he does not say much Portuguese in that. So let's go have a look at another one.
Ah, fala português, não é?
Sim.
Perfeito. Falo também.
Sério?
Há quanto tempo você está estudando português?
Um mês.
Um mês? O seu português é muito bom, cara.
Muito obrigado, cara. Você é brasileiro? Tudo bem?
Bem, você?
Tudo. Obrigado.
Quantas línguas você fala?
Falo 8.
Now, really, we don't have enough information to be able to judge his actual level of Portuguese because, as you saw, it was very short clips of him asking questions or responding to the most basic of questions, and he never uses complex phrases. So, whether he's studied for a month or more, it's hard to say, but it does seem like he's been using Spanish as the base language. Now, remember, in his book, he claimed mastery of Portuguese. That is definitely not true. Okay, now we're going to review his Arabic, which again is in a scripted environment.
Assalamu alaikum, كيف الحال؟ اسمي بوليغون نوماد. اليوم سأقدم نفسي بلغة عربية. هيا بنا.
Okay, now we're going to hear him in a natural environment.
Oh, cool. Can you say hi?
Hello, oh, live?
Ah, no, recording.
Okay.
Yeah. What language do you speak?
English or Arabic?
Arabic. بتتكلم عربي. أتكلم عربي؟ أتكلم عربي. حبيبي يا حبيبي. شكرا شكرا. أتعلم العربي.
أنا أحب صوتك.
بجد؟
نعم بجد.
ليه؟ لماذا؟
الناس طيبين. حلوين.
نعم.
والأكل واو.
أكل. رامن لذيذ. نعم. لوحدي. نعم.
يوتيوب الفيديوز.
You'll notice here that the people he's talking to keep swapping back to English, and that generally happens after there's been a cut within the video, which means that he didn't understand their question, most likely in Arabic. Basically, the summary from our reviewer is that he actually has to re-listen to him a few times in order to actually understand him, which was probably what happened on the street there. So his level in Arabic is probably not that high, although we weren't given a specific designation, but it definitely isn't mastery. Okay, now let's take a look at his Indonesian.
Bangat. Om Swastiastu. Satu orang saja. Permisi. Sorry? Satu beef rendang. Sama mineral water. Tolong.
Satu beef rendang, satu mineral water ya?
Ya, sama. Jadi aku sampai di warung Indonesia, aku bakal coba rendang. Aku pernah dengar kayak ini makanan Indonesia terbest. Jadi dari tiga lebih clear.
Now you'll notice pretty much after every single sentence, there's a cut, which means he's tried saying that sentence a few times. Now, there is multiple clips for you to review, but we won't review them all. This is the summary. He's probably only around a B1, maybe a B2. And again, not mastery, which is becoming a common occurrence. Okay, now let's take a look at his Russian.
Я говорю по-русски тоже.
Хорошо?
Очень хорошо. Я уже 3 года учусь язык.
Только 3 года?
Только, ну да.
Ты уже хорошо говоришь?
Хорошо понимаю, но говорить иногда сложно, но без проблем, да.
А как ты учишь русский?
Самостоятельно.
С книжками?
С книжками, да, по интернету. И тоже, да. Откуда ты?
Я в России родилась, Екатеринбург.
Екатеринбург, ого.
Okay, basically the assumption is that since he makes mistakes that a B2 or a C1 learner would not make, therefore he's probably somewhere between A1 and B2. Okay, let's take a look at his German.
Ich spreche Japanisch, Englisch und Deutsch.
Oh. That's so cool.
Danke.
Also kannst du mich verstehen?
Ja, natürlich.
Warum hast du es nicht von vornherein gesagt?
Keine Ahnung, aber...
Oha, Digga, das ist voll gut.
Noch nicht, aber...
Doch, wirklich, ist gut.
Danke.
Nicht so wie mein Japanisch.
Nein, Japanisch.
Yeah.
Deine Aussprache ist sehr gut.
Echt?
Ja, echt.
Thank you.
Bitte.
Okay, basically the comments were somewhere between an A1 and a B1 level. Again, not mastery. Now, I'm not going to go through every one of his languages because obviously that would take all day. But here is the document, again on the screen. He attempts Turkish, Chinese, Korean, Thai, Polish, Dutch, Tagalog, Cantonese. We didn't get anything for Hindi, Danish, Uzbek, and Italian. Now, I request if you actually do speak any of these languages, please go to the document, click on the link, watch him speaking that language, then add your comments below in the comments section. Now, the best comments I will take from YouTube and actually copy them into the document. So those who want to actually know his capabilities in each one of the languages can come here and can actually see this, at least as of 2025. Now, there is one last language I do want to look at, particularly in this video, because it's a language I speak, which is Mandarin Chinese.
你在中国哪里出生？
你会说中文？
我是中国。
你是哪里人啊？
我是日本人。
你是日本人？你会说这么多语言，好厉害！
就是我的西班牙语比较好，但
挺好的。
我去年开始学习中文，大概1年。
这很快。谢谢。
Okay, so what he said there is he started learning Chinese last year. So let's have a look at this video when it was released. This video was released as of 3 months ago. So last year, let's just say, would be at the beginning of 2024. Now, this book was actually released in April 2024. So that means In this book, he claims that he has mastery of Mandarin Chinese. However, in that video, he said he started learning Chinese about a year ago, which would put it roughly around the same time as this book was released. Maybe he started a few months before that, maybe a few months after that. Also, remember, it takes time to actually write books, and it could have possibly been delays in uploading that video. So what's going on here? Now, there's a few possibilities. One, he's underselling his abilities in Chinese and he's saying, oh, I only started, studying 1 year ago in order to rizz up the girl, make her excited about the fact that his Chinese is so good at that point. But realistically, he is using very simple and basic phrases, so I don't think that's what's going on. Two, maybe his Chinese is actually not that good and he didn't know how to tell her when he really started learning Chinese, which could have been before this, and he just went with, 1 year ago because no one's going to check this information anyway. Or maybe he's memorized only specific phrases in Mandarin Chinese, one of those phrases being, I started learning a year ago, and hasn't actually updated the phrase that he's learnt yet. So in the grand scheme of things, something about these timelines does not match up. And we've seen it in other videos where he claims in very short periods of time that he started studying various languages, which based on his levels might be true, but then again, they might be underselling how much effort he's actually put into learning each language. Now, here is my March 2025 summary of Kazoo languages. Unlike the other hyperpolyglots who I've done takedown videos on, Kazoo languages actually does learn the languages that he talks about, at least to a very basic level, or maybe even a lower intermediate level. However, he does not master any of these languages, and even a claim to mastery for English, it's a pretty high bar to cross, and I'm sorry to say that is not mastery of English. Although he may be fluent in English, it is hard to say because we have not seen enough content in English, but he's not mastered it, at least in my eyes. Now, for his other languages, specifically the ones that I do speak, I can certainly say without a doubt, he has not mastered Mandarin Chinese. Now, additionally, in order for me to really call someone a fraud, they have to be, selling scammy stuff. And this book is on sale for roughly $6 US. So it's not like a big overpriced course or anything like that. It is quite a cheap book, although it does really oversell his abilities, and it does it to a Japanese audience, and he doesn't oversell his abilities as much to an English audience. So I guess the ultimate question is he a fraud? I would say he's not a fraud. He's a genuine language learner, although he loves the attention that he gets for speaking a little bit of all of these different languages. There's nothing wrong with that, I guess, at the end of the day. The only part of this whole story that annoys me is the fact that he claims mastery to a Japanese audience. Okay, we've reached the end of this video. Please let me know in the comment section below whether you think he is actually a fraud or whether you think he's just really overselling his abilities and underselling the amount of time that he has put into each one of the languages. And I'll see you all in the next video. And you better keep grinding your language or you might appear on one of my thumbnails.